How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Family. We are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be looking at the teams to target in this FPL video for Game Week 8 and all the way through until Game Week 11. That's going to be the next 4 game weeks of 8, 9, 10, and 11, and we're going to take it the 3 best teams, in my opinion, that we should be kind of paying attention to or bringing in players from those teams, as I think they could do well over the next 4 fixtures. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new or haven't done so already. It greatly helps out the channel, as well as turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with any and all FPL news, from price changes to injury news and anything in between. And lastly, make sure to give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can be ready when we go live for our preview and deadline streams, which will be starting back up next week, with the preview stream on Monday and the deadline stream on the Saturday. There'll be a pinned comment down below to give you the exact details on that as well. So without further ado, let's talk about our partners for the FPL season with Fantasy Football Scout. So if you haven't heard about Fantasy Football Scout, they have a fantastic members area during the regular season. It's £25 for the membership, and that lasts the entire year. And during the off season, they give a 20% discount. But if you have missed that discount, fear not, you can still get the membership for £25, and it's fantastic. You can see the membership area just behind me. You have a bunch of different stats that you can use, powered by Opta stats, and create your own custom tables. You have the Rate My Team tool, you have the season ticker, player comparison tools, a whole array of things that you can use to help elevate your FPL game. So use the link down in the description below so that you can get access to these exclusive tools to help elevate your FPL game. Sign up now. Now, the first team on our list is Manchester City. They have been keeping clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet, and haven't been rotating that much. They've had a couple of injuries here and there, but for the most part, they've maintained their relatively strong squad, and there's been some prominent players in there, notably a couple in defense, as well as one in the attacking areas, which we'll get onto in just a second. But it's mainly due to their run of fixtures that are coming up from Game Week 8 onwards. They have a very long spell where they have a bunch of favorable fixtures where they could be keeping clean sheets or get good results. And in the next 4, that could be quite good for them. If we look at Game Week 8, Burnley at home, I mean, their history against Burnley at home is literally they win 5-0 basically every time, or at least they put 3 past them at a bare minimum. They thrash Burnley no matter what type of form that they're in. So that could easily be a clean sheet and could be some points if you go for an attacker there as well. Brighton away, going to be a tricky ask there, but Brighton don't typically score very many goals, if any, and with City's defense the way it's been playing, you can expect maybe clean sheet there. That would probably be one you could potentially bank on. Crystal Palace, a team that likes to open up, likes to play attacking football now under Patrick Vieira. They're going to leave themselves open. They have a very young center-back partnership with Anderson and Gahey, and with inexperience at fullback such as Mitchell, who only came into prominence really last season for the most part. And they're going to be open defensively as well, which could mean some attacking returns, but also it could mean that they're kind of somewhat experienced heads. I guess you could say Benteke and Zaha. They've been around for a few seasons. Zaha and Benteke in particular. Jordan Ayew as well. So they've kind of been figured out for the most part. City shouldn't have any trouble with them either defensively. And then Man United away. I mean, that just seems to be a kind of a nil-nil written all over it, in a sense. City will have most of the ball. United will try to break. United aren't necessarily as good potentially on the break with Ronaldo in the team, whereas if they had like Cavani and Rashford, Cavani doesn't have much more like counter-attacking threat, but he does press, which can help them in getting on the counter as well. And hopefully Rashford will be back for that game as a United fan, because we would definitely need him on the break for that. But maybe Sancho adds a different dynamic, but you can probably expect City to at least put up a decent fight. And if not, they're going to be favorites in the game. They are away from home, so that obviously diminishes their chances slightly. But on the whole, those 4 fixtures, I'm looking at that saying 2 clean sheets at a bare minimum. 3 clean sheets, it's probably going to be about, on point for them. 4 clean sheets will be excellent for them. And if you look at the season stats as well, 9 big chances in the last 4 game weeks, 22 big chances, which I believe is 4th out of the top 4 teams. 85 shots in the box is 2nd on the season, only behind Liverpool. And their XG non-penalty is also 2nd behind Liverpool with 14.57. So City are definitely among able to score the goals. At least the stats would suggest that. It's just a matter of who to pick from them, and not really too sure who's going to be scoring the goals. I mean, with Ferran Torres out of the team, it seems like they're lacking in that department. Maybe if they had a Kane up front, they would be able to, you know, put a lot more chances away. But if, when in doubt, when you don't know who's going to be scoring them, you got to get the creators, and that's where we're looking at these 3 players here. So Ruben Diaz, someone who's going to be playing game in, game out for City. He's had 4 chances created, which I was surprised to see. 3 clean sheets in the last 4.55 XGI. He's just going to be your standard 6 million-ish defender. He's going to be in your team. He's going to be there getting 6 pointers every week, hopefully for clean sheets. If City only win by 1-0, then maybe he gets some bonus points because of his potential threat on a set piece, or his passing out from the back as well. Cancelo, your much riskier pick. He's been playing every minute of the Premier League as well. Didn't have a good showing versus Liverpool, which doesn't bode well for him, but I think Pep has no other choice. He has Zinchenko, who he doesn't really fancy too much, and Cancelo just creates so much on that left-hand side when cutting in on his right foot. 5 chances created in the last 4 game weeks, kind of tailed off a little bit. 3 clean sheets as well. So he would be the slightly riskier, slightly more expensive pick, but you could get some attacking potential comboed with a clean sheet, means max bonus for Cancelo most likely. And then lastly, the mainstay who's been in the team basically every week, starting game in, game out, getting 60+ minutes at least for every game in the Premier League thus far, has been Jack Grealish. And he's got 2 big chances, 9 chances created, 3 clean sheet points for himself in the last 4 game weeks as well. He seems to be the one that's kind of playing the more of like the creator role. We'll be looking to get some of the assists. Now, Foden may change that, may put Grealish in the false 9 role, where it seems like nobody really has that nailed down at the moment. Pep's been playing a bunch of different players in there, like Sterling, like Foden, like Torres. De Bruyne can play there as well. I think Grealish will probably end up playing out on the left mostly. De Bruyne, in my opinion, probably plays best as a false 9, but I know Ferran Torres plays it as well, which means De Bruyne drops back into the midfield. But I think Grealish for 7.9 million is probably your safest bet. If you want something a little bit riskier in that price bracket, probably the likes of Phil Foden is where you could go. But I think Manchester City definitely get on them now before they start going ballistic. I mean, they've already got, what, 5 clean sheets in the first 7 game weeks. The only clean sheets that they didn't have against was against Spurs and Liverpool, which are 2 teams you would kind of associate as being probably in the top 6 every season. Spurs probably less so in the last couple of seasons just because of their form, but Liverpool definitely. So no real shocks there. But Man City, definitely in my thoughts on the wild card, should be your transfers. Cancelo specifically I'm looking at. He looks fantastic as well. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the other team that's also spending a lot of money over the last couple of seasons. The team from London, the Blues. Let's take a look at Chelsea. Now, all the rage for Chelsea has been in their defense. So that's what we're going to talk about here. Lukaku's not on the graphic just because he's kind of obvious. You know, you look at the fixtures there. Brentford away, Norwich at home, definitely Norwich at home. Newcastle away, Burnley at home. Those are 4 fantastic fixtures, which Lukaku's kind of just a given. It's just a matter of who do we pair him with as our double up or potentially even a triple up. If we look at Chelsea's stats on the season, 11 big chances, 17 on the season, 42 shots inside the box, 68 shots inside the box across the whole season, which is actually significantly lower than the top 3 teams like Liverpool, Man City, and I believe there was one other team in there, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But there was a big gap. It was like 84, and then they were down at 68. So they're not getting as many chances as them inside the box, but they create good quality chances when they do get those opportunities. So Chelsea just kind of need to put them away, and that's what they got Lukaku for, which is why I think he's kind of essential if you're on a wild card, or if you still have Ronaldo, I'd be definitely getting rid of him for the Norwich game. Maybe not necessarily the Brentford game, because Brentford are quite good defensively, and Leicester haven't been great, which is what Ronaldo's fixture will be in Game Week 8. But definitely that Norwich fixture, you're going to want him in. And then, who do we pair him with? That's the thing. You know, Thomas Tuchel likes to rotate around at the back a little bit. He has options, and if we go through those options, at right back and left back, when everyone's fit, he's got 2 on each side. Well, technically, he's got 3. At right back, he could play Reece James, he could play Azpilicueta, he could even play Christian Pulisic, and even a 4th, Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. At center back, right-sided center back, he could play Reece James, Azpilicueta, or Christensen. At central center back, he could play Christensen, Thiago Silva. I think those are the only 2 that really play there for the most part. And left-sided center back is where it's a bit on the like the kind of the scare side. Christensen can play there. He hasn't played there for a long time because Rudiger's played every minute of the Premier League, and he seems to have that spot nailed down. And then on the left-hand side, you have Alonso and you have Chilwell. So a lot of defenders there to kind of choose from, and it depends on what Thomas Tuchel's looking to do. So the 3 defenders that is probably on everyone's radar for the most part right now, with Reece James being injured at the moment, is Antonio Rudiger, Marcos Alonso, and Cesar Azpilicueta. Now, Rudiger, for me, is one of those defenders nailed on, no questions asked. He's the only one in my eyes that can play in that left-sided center-back position. He's played every minute of the Premier League. He doesn't get subbed on when he doesn't play a game, so that means he's most likely you're going to be looking to your bench. So as long as you make sure your first defender coming off your bench is good, which is why on a wild card you kind of line that up like a Ben White or somebody like that, a little bit cheaper, maybe a Livramento even. You know you'll come in and have somebody who is a capable backup for Rudiger in your team. It's the other defender that we're looking at to potentially pair up with Rudiger. Now, Alonso potentially has some risk versus Ben Chilwell. But if you told me he's playing 3 out of the 4 next fixtures out of that run, I'm taking him in my team, no questions asked. He's had 1 big chance, 4 chances created, 2 clean sheets, 1.03 XGI. The numbers probably were a little bit higher than that if you included the first 3 game weeks of the season as well. And he's already gone up to 6 million after starting at 5.5 million. And then Azpilicueta, someone who can play at right wing back, typically is favored in much more tougher games where there could be some defensive problems against teams who are quick on the break. We see Azpilicueta playing at left wing back. Or right wing back, sorry, and then have Reece James play at right-sided center back, or even just play 3 center backs like Christensen, Thiago Silva, and Rudiger, and kind of omit like Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, and Reece James from the mix altogether. So Azpilicueta is very versatile. Also, he's the club captain as well, so he's going to be in there as well. And he actually has the highest XGI over the last 4 game weeks out of all 3 of them, with 1.52, because he's created 6 chances, also had a big chance himself. So he can definitely do quite well in those fixtures as well. But it's just a matter of if he's playing weekend, midweek, weekend, he's in his early 30s now, starting to get closer to his mid-30s. Can he play week in, week out with that type of intensity? We know he's going to run his socks off. It's just a matter of can he keep up. But I think he definitely can, as he showed in the past, and is definitely a very good creator when, you know, kind of taking up that kind of like outside channel on the right and kind of whipping a ball from deep into the box, in towards a striker who can just kind of glance it on into the bottom corner or the far corner. And I think he could be a fantastic pick. So for me right now, I'm looking at Rudiger and Azpilicueta just play a little bit on the safer side. But let me know what you think in the comments down below on that front. Lukaku's a sure cert in the team. No, that's not even a debate here. It's just a matter of which 1 or 2 Chelsea players are we also going to add into the team as well. Now, lastly, let's take a look at the other team, one of the other teams from London, who's kind of resurged a little bit. They didn't have a great last couple of seasons, but they were typically known as the best team in London. London is red. Let's take a look at Arsenal. Now, Arsenal's poor start to the season has been met by 10 points in the last possible 12 available, getting wins in 3 and then getting I would say a safe draw versus Brighton in their last fixture. And if you would have said, you know, before that, would you have taken the draw versus Spurs and the 3 points versus Brighton, which is probably about right, you're still taking 10 points anyway. So I think out of all of it, they came up with probably the most amount of points. Obviously, they would have liked to win versus Brighton, but I thought Brighton played quite well. But Arsenal seemed to be on the up and up. And the stats definitely showed up. We look at across the whole season, 7 big chances, 55 shots inside the box, 7.52 XG non-penalty. If you look in just the last 4 game weeks, 6 of those big chances, last 4 game weeks, 38 of those 55 shots inside the box, last 4 game weeks, close to 6 XG non-penalty in the last 4 game weeks over the whole season as a portion. the percentages are in Arsenal's favour, and it seems like they're doing well with these slightly easier fixtures. And the fixtures are somewhat easy when you look at them on paper. Game week 8, Crystal Palace at home. Could get some joy there. Aston Villa, they like to, play out from the back a little bit. They like to go forward. They're going to have a back three, which could be a bit difficult, but again, also at home, another easy fixture. Leicester, defensive woes all over the shop, and Arsenal could potentially get something there. And then Watford. Watford aren't typically great away from home, at least that's what they showed in the Championship. Those 4 fixtures, I can expect Arsenal to maybe get a clean sheet or 2 in there, and some attacking returns for their nice budget players that we have to show you. So Ramsdale is somebody who came in during the summer transfer window and has completely taken the role over from Bernd Leno. And for originally 4.5 million, who's now up to 4.6 million, he is someone who is proving to be not only a leader at the back, but he's a great shot stopper. He's good with the ball at his feet from what we've seen thus far. 3 clean sheets since he's played. 1.10 xG prevented, which means that he saved them at least a goal worth of saves from going in the back of the net, which Bernd Leno definitely wasn't on that level when he was starting and playing. So he could be a cheap budget goalkeeper that you kind of set and forget, or you could rotate with the likes of a Rea or a Guaito or a Sanchez if you wanted to do that. And then the 2 kind of cheaper midfielders that could help round out your team and get some budget in there, or even provide, as in Smith Rowe's case, a 5th midfielder, where Saka could be a 4th midfielder. So Smith Rowe, don't have to necessarily play him every game if you're going 3-4-3 or something like that, or 4-4-2. Smith Rowe could be that person that comes in for Antonio Rudiger if you're playing 4 at the back and he doesn't happen to play. 2 big chances, 6 chances created, 2 clean sheet points for him in that time, 1.11 xGI. So he is someone who is going to play probably most weeks, I would say, probably 8 to 9 out of 10 game weeks in a row. He links well with Saka and kind of is getting into the box a lot more, for at least from what I've seen. I mean, Arsenal fans will know more than me, but it seems like he's getting more and more in the box than what he was last season. He was a bit more tentative, playing from the outside of the box, trying to make things happen, being like the assist to the assister. Now he wants to get in the box. He wants to be the cutting-edge pass that either creates the goal or he wants to score it. So that's great for him, and at 5.3 million, we can't ignore that. And then Bukayo Saka, someone who he came off a brilliant Euros, apart from obviously missing a penalty. Nobody wants to obviously do that, but I think his overall play was fantastic. He made that right-hand side in the England squad his own, and I think he was fantastic in the last few games as well when playing out on that right-hand side. 1 big chance, 8 chances created, 3 clean sheet points as well, 1.59 xGI. He was scintillating versus Spurs, and I think he could be devastating for 6.3 million. We're talking about Rafinha being a good priced asset. In these next 4 fixtures, Saka could probably match that potentially if Arsenal's stats are showing that they're going to elevate their attacking game and allow for the likes of Smith Rowe, Saka, even Aubameyang up front to get more chances and more opportunity to express themselves attacking-wise, now that they know that they have the likes of Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabriel, Tierney, all fit and available, a capable goalkeeper in Ramsdale to keep the ball out of the net. With Thomas Partey fit and Lokonga alongside him, I think they can definitely keep the ball for a lot longer, create and fashion more chances. They're very good on the break as well, which also bodes well when they're going against teams that want to have the ball a little bit, like Leicester away. They might let Leicester have the ball because they know that Leicester are lethal on the counter, and they'll just basically do what Leicester do to other teams. They'll hit them on the counter. So I think Arsenal, for the cheaper assets, could be fantastic. I would definitely be looking to bring in potentially Ramsdale on my wild card. Debating over Saka or Smith Rowe as a 4/5th midfielder. I think they could be great assets, and you should be looking at them too. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, which players are you bringing in from their teams as well? And if there's any teams that I potentially missed, I think these are potentially the top 3. Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, that's going to do it for the teams to target for Game Week 8 through Game Week 11. And that is going to do it for our teams to target over the second international break here from Game Week 8 till Game Week 11. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new or haven't done so already. It greatly helps out the channel, as well as turn those notification bells on so you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with any and all FPL news, from price changes to injury news and anything in between, as well as give us a follow over on Twitch so you can join us live for our preview and deadline streams will be starting up next week, starting with the preview stream on the Monday. There will always be a pinned comment down below on the YouTube videos to let you know the exact time and the link to the stream as well. And lastly, make sure to use the link in the description so that you can get your Fantasy Football Scout membership. It'll give you access to Opta stats-driven stats tables, which are fully customizable, as well as many other tools such as the season ticker, the Rate My Team tool, and much, much more. They're all going to help elevate your FPL game. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, take care.